Hey guys. Well, I'm all dressed up again, and yes, it's for the same reason I did before. I went to the funeral of Natalie's mother. It's her genetic grandmother, but it's the woman who raised her, so she called her mom. And it was a good service. And met some people I hadn't met in a long time. I gotta be honest, it kind of upsets me that the only time I ever meet some folks is at funerals. But I mean, what are you gonna do? We all have things to take care of. This is the church. We're in Conroe someplace, and it was a lovely service, lovely little lunch. Maybe somebody recognizes the bridge where we're at. But anyway, heading back to talk to folks. We opted not to go in the limo because we live right down the street from the cemetery.
There's one guy over on this side on the lights, and there's another guy over there with the wires.
It's funny, sometimes you'll see those guys, you'll see one of them plug a wire in, and you'll look over at the other guy, and the other guy will do this, and then he'll plug another wire in and look over, and the guy will like, and he'll sit there and do that until they figure it out, because apparently none of these lights ever get wired correctly. Never been up on a cherry picker in my whole life. Always thought about it. You ever been up on a cherry picker?
One time.
Oh, cool.
As a kid.
Awesome. Not only have I never been on a cherry picker, I've never been in a limo. Natalie may have been on a cherry picker when she was a kid, but she just told me she's never been in a limo. We may have to rectify that one of these days. This is a very nice cemetery. And it's also, it happens to be infested with tree gnomes. But other than that, it's a really nice place. Our apartment, actually, our old apartment place actually backed up against one of the back fences over there. So we used to live right next door to this place. One little anecdote that I missed, videoing by a few seconds. One of the people who used to work at that particular cemetery said they had to be very careful and warn people, because when you leave flowers out at the gravesite and you head back in to either eat or whatever, you know, there's different things going on at a funeral, but you would come back out and all the flowers would be spread out and tore up, and it looked like somebody ran up there and had a flower war. But what was going on was the squirrels were running up and eating the flowers. So you had to be sure to warn people that if they left the flowers out there for any length of time unattended, they were going to get eaten by the squirrels. It's one of those little things you just don't pay any attention to until it happens. So one thing I wanted to mention, the last funeral I went to before 2012, I believe I was 3 years old. It was from my Uncle Bobbert, and I was 3. They fired off some guns in the background because it was a military type funeral, and it scared the heck out of me, and I just didn't have a thing for funerals after that. Well, it was 40 years later, and I now have 2 and 2 months. So let's not make this a trend, people. I'm already tired. It's been 40 years, but you know what? I'm tired of going to funerals. Anyway, so everybody stay healthy out there. Take care of yourselves.